Schoolboy Q finally released an album after 5 years. After waiting all this time, he gives us Blue Lips, and here are my thoughts on it. Now, I have to be honest with you. On first listen, I was slightly disappointed because when I was listening to the singles that he was releasing, especially Back in Love, I got so excited because that was super dark and moody and felt really experimental, and I was like, oh man, if this album is headed that way, that's exactly what I want. I've really been digging kind of this moody, dark, experimental rap, and so I was like, if Schoolboy Q is going to do that, that would be amazing. But then I heard the album and that's not where he went, and I was slightly disappointed, but I was like, I got to give this more of a chance because I had expectations and I need to at least just give it a few more listens and see what I think. So that's what I did, and I just kept enjoying it more and more every listen. I've probably listened to it 4 or 5 times now, and I absolutely love it from start to finish. I don't really think it's too long. I just think every track is just so great. I'm not saying that this might be an album of the year contender. Maybe it will. I don't know. I'm going to keep listening to it, but I loved it. First of all, the beat switches, so many. I think I saw somewhere that there's like 11 of them, and they're all great. They're all flawless. They don't feel awkward. They don't feel put on. They don't feel like he was just trying to do it for the sake of doing it. They were great. And to be expected lyrically, it's so strong, and the flows are amazing. One thing I did notice though is that there's not a ton of features, and none of them really outshine Schoolboy Q. There is a great performance by Freddie Gibbs, and Rico Nasty is amazing, but a lot of the other features, they just kind of complement the track, and that just makes for such an intimate and personal record, and honestly, I love that. This feels like his most personal, mature album. And of course, he's been gone for 5 years. He hasn't really done a whole lot. So it makes sense. He's matured over this time. He's got some really deep songs, some about like school shootings that's so heavy, but he just delivers lyrically in an amazing way. And then these features come and they support him, and it feels like such an intimate and personal record. And then you've got all the different sounds and avenues he steps into and explores. It's not just one direction, kind of like, Yeat's album, which isn't bad. He does this concept album and it, people love it. But that's not what this album is. He's kind of all over the place. Like I said before, he's got this dark, moody, experimental track, but then he's got some really mellow, chill, just relatable, relational, deep tracks, and then he's got some kind of jazz forward tracks, and then of course all of the beat switches. So he really is going all over the place, but it does seem to just kind of flow flawlessly from track to track. So I've said a lot of things, but what I think I'm really wanting to express is that I love this record, and it took me a little while to get over the expectation I'd placed on it, which that's really important. We put expectations on albums, especially when we're following an artist, and it's important to try to kind of break through that expectation, and I feel like I did, and I'm all the better for it. It's a great record. I want to listen to it over and over again, and I just love how personal and intimate it is. I think if you kind of are disliking the album, maybe there's not much I can say to convince you, but I would just say keep listening because I think it'll grow on you. If you love the album, you obviously know all of these things. All of what I'm saying is so true, and Schoolboy Q is just kind of getting to this next level, and he's been a great rapper for a long time. He took a hiatus, and he's just coming back and showing he's still great. He's still amazing, and he still performs, and he can still punch with all the rest of them.